Ayo, back at it again with another video. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. So this is part 4 in the high-speed rail series. So this is following along the I-10 expressway from LA, Socal, to Phoenix, Tucson, El Paso, and then on to San Antonio and on to Houston. So this is a 4-state potential high-speed rail project. LA, second largest city in the country. You got Socal is a really big part of the West, and then you move on to Phoenix, which is growing exponentially. Phoenix, Mesa, the Phoenix Valley, Tucson's another large city, and then on to El Paso, and then San Antonio and Houston is growing exponentially. Texas Triangle is just exploding in growth. So let's look at kind of what we've talked about in the past. Recent video, we talked about LA to Vegas up to Salt Lake, but this video would be LA to Phoenix to El Paso, through Tucson, down to San Antonio, and on to Houston. So this is the 4th video, so LA to the Texas Triangle. 3rd video was talking about I-15, LA to Vegas to Salt Lake. 2nd video was talking about California high-speed rail from LA up to Sacramento, San Diego to San Francisco. And the 1st video is talking about Seattle to Sacramento. So Seattle to Sacramento, part 1. Sacramento to LA, San Diego, part 2. Part 3, SoCal, LA, San Diego to Vegas up to Salt Lake. And part 4, LA to Phoenix to Tucson to El Paso to the Texas Triangle. Now, this is a considerable distance. Let's look at the distance in terms of Google Maps. Measure distance to Phoenix, roughly 330 miles. To Tucson, to El Paso, then on to San Antonio, and then on to Houston. So this is 1,400 miles. This is a long distance. The cost is, that would be an entirely different video to make, but we're focusing on the potential benefits of this high-speed rail. So LA, Phoenix, the Valley, Tucson, El Paso, and then on to Texas Triangle. So the I-10 ultimately goes from SoCal, Texas Triangle, and then on to Florida, but I'm only talking about the western half of I-10. The entire route's about 2,500 miles. This route has existed since the 1950s. This is a route that connects California to Texas to Florida. So it basically connects the Sun Belt region of the country. 3 major states in terms of population: California, Texas, and then on to Florida. But let's look at people we're connecting. We're only talking about SoCal to the Texas Triangle. So we're connecting LA, Long Beach, Anaheim, roughly 13 million. Connecting Houston, so it would go from the 2nd largest to the 5th largest, Houston. So 13 million on one end, 7.3 million on the other end. And along the way, you'd be also connecting the 10th largest, Phoenix, Mesa, Chandler, with another 5 million. Could also connect into the San Diego metro market. But San Antonio is another 2.6 million. I know Tucson is another pretty sizable metro market, if I can only find it. Yep, Tucson's about 1 million people. If I can also find El Paso on here. Yeah. So El Paso, 68th metro market, about 870,000. So number 68, El Paso will be connected with number 53, Tucson at 1 million. So 870,000 plus 1 million. So we're looking at probably about 2 million at that point, 1.8 million. Be connected with, if we go up, San Antonio about 2.5, 2.6 million. So we're already up to about 4.5, 5 million people connected with this. And then Phoenix is another 5 million. So you're coming up to 10 million people connected. And then Houston 7, so you're already up to 17 million. And then LA about 13 million. So all in all, roughly, give or take, this route, roughly 30 million people connected. So high risk, high reward. There's a lot of people that can be benefited from this. Obviously the cost is an entirely different, video to make, but you're basically connecting 30 million people from Socal to Phoenix, Tucson, El Paso, and then on to the Texas Triangle. So again, just the western half of I-10 from California through Arizona, New Mexico, and into Texas. The I-10 high-speed rail would connect a lot of people. You're looking at 30 million roughly in total. And then obviously we can further connect it into California, Vegas, and then if you want to go up to Cascadia. So this has been part 4 of high-speed rail, following along existing interstates because the infrastructure is already built. If you follow the routes of already built infrastructure, the cost goes down because there's less need for expenses for land acquisition. So this has been part 4 in the video, I-10 high-speed rail, LA, Socal to Phoenix, El Paso, and then on to the Texas Triangle, roughly connecting 30 million people. So with that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Deuces.